Welcome back, trainers, and in this video we're going to be going over all of my community day Pokemon from the last 2 years, so you can see what I have lined up here. Kind of a lot. It's like around 250 of them. I am hoarding a lot of these that I do need to transfer for whatever reason that I'm still holding on to them, but there are a lot of different various moves. So Charizard, for instance, has a lot of different move combinations that you can have. Wing Attack, Blast Burn, Dragon Breath, Blast Burn, and so on and so on. So we're going to go ahead and see what we have going on here. I'm not going to necessarily rank them. I'm just going to kind of give you my thoughts on each one and then tell you some highlights towards the end, or as we do go through it, as to, yeah, you should really be focusing on this one, or you don't really need to worry about this one too much. But actually looking at my Pokemon inventory here. So with that said, if you do enjoy my content, you want to support me and help me out, you can give this video a thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. All right, let's go ahead and start this right about now. It's going to be about a 15-minute video, so let's go ahead and get into this. How to speed it up, otherwise it would have been longer. Starting it off with Charizard here, I do have a 100% completely maxed out Blast Burn and also Dragon Breath. So you have two moves on that. You always want Blast Burn. Dragon Breath, not so much. It's good. You may want to have a couple on the side, and you also have to consider that it does have a Mega Evolution that is going to be picking up Dragon types. So you can use that to your advantage there when it comes down to its Mega Evolution. Also having Dragon Breath for PvP for the Ultra and Great League can help you out in certain situations, but more than likely you're going to want to run the Air Slash, okay? All right, so moving on here, we got a ton of those. Let's go ahead and move on to the Blastoise here. I do have a Shundo Sunglasses. Again, every single starter that gets a Community Day move, you want their Community Day move on it, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, straight up, okay? This one here does have, of course, Hydro Cannon. When it comes to Blastoise, it's the one that's being neglected the most out of the 3 Kanto starters. I feel like they need to up its quick move so it can spam like the other ones. Alolan Sand Slash or regular Kanto Sand Slash, Night Slash, not really worth it. Not really worth it. But when it comes down to the Alolan one, it's going to be getting Shadow Claw for its Community Day move, okay? That's going to be pretty good, but it also learns Powdered Snow, which is amazing as well, and you're going to be getting Stab. But you definitely probably want one in your inventory. As you see, I have plenty powered up here, and it's definitely worth your investment. Poliwrath with Counter. There's nothing else that needs to be said. Definitely amazing. Not going to be particularly something you're going to want to use for raids, but definitely good for Great League and Ultra League for sure. So worth your investment for that one. When it comes to the Slowpoke family though, oh, then I have the Shadow here. So, you know, if you have one of those, I just don't want to keep spending on my Stardust, man. All right, so when it comes down to the Slowbro family, they all learn Surf, right? Surf, it was a pretty good introduction to their move pool, but they just give it Scald, so now it's almost making it null and void. So just go with Scald, I guess. Have this maxed out. I mean, that cost me so much Stardust, and I used it like once. I do love the design, and it is shiny, so I just went with it. What the hell with it. But again, Surf for these, the whole family's getting them. When it comes to Politoed, it is actually going to be getting Ice Beam. So you want that. It's a direct upgrade from Blizzard, okay? You always want to go with the Ice Beam here. And also, it is going to be able to have Scald as well, and Scald was just upgraded. Now, taking a look at Jump Bluff here, it's going to be learning Acrobatics. That's Community move, Acrobatics, which is actually going to be pretty good for it. I personally don't use this. Been looking at this Shadow to power it up, but again, I'm probably going to use it a couple of times and then not anymore. But this is something that I do commonly see that does put in the work in Go Battle League. Moving on to Quagsire here, which is going to be learning Aqua Tail. That can be a pretty good move for it. It is going to be getting Stab, but there are going to be better moves for it. You want to probably go Mud Bomb, Stone Edge. Personally, that's just what I'm thinking. I did run Aqua Tail and I had an absolute blast, and it put in the work for me. So maybe it would do the same for you. Definitely not higher up on the list though. Again, more of the Slowking family here, which is all going to be learning Surf, and I have way too many of these. I need to transfer them. Why do I need so many of these damn Pokemon? Hoarding for no reason. I have this 100, unfortunately, just barely past the Ultra League. I guess I can use it to drop in the gyms. Tyranitar, or one more Slowbro family here. You can do whatever you want, okay? It's basically the same for all those. You have Scald now. Tyranitar, Smackdown. You want this move, period, straight up. Do you want a couple like Tyranitars with Bite so you can go in there as a pure Dark type attacker? Definitely. I have a bunch of Tyranitars as a Dark type attacker that I did have from back in the day, but I don't even use them because there's better dark attackers now, sometimes, most of the time. I do have that maxed out Shadow, which is proof within itself that it is definitely worth your investment there. Shiny Shadow, best buddy, thing is top tier rock type attacker. All right, and as you can see, I have various different moves on a lot of these here that I don't really use anymore. They're just kind of sitting in my inventory. Walrein with Icicle Spear. This is a standard move that you need, okay? Period. There's no, again, no ifs, ands, or buts. It's like having the starter move on your starter Pokemon, okay? You want it always. Definitely a good Pokemon. As you've seen, I had one maxed out. Is it worth absolutely maxing one out? I'm gonna say, I mean, if you want to, if you're newer and this is what you have for your inventory, your items, and enough candies to power one up for a good ice type attacker, then go for it. But there are better ones. It's definitely going to be for the Great League and the Ultra League, not specifically for rating. Now down to one of my favorites here, Staraptor. Now this is a little bit of an unfortunate situation here. Gust is the Community Day move. It just received Fly, massive upgrade for it. Definitely going to be one of the top flying type attackers with, I do believe it's still going to be Gust and Brave Bird, right? But here's the thing, when it comes down to PvP, Wing Attack apparently is a little bit better. So yeah, maybe you make a couple. I mean, it's really up to you. I personally like using Gust once in a while, but Wing Attack really does get the job done straight up, okay? So this one could vary if you want to get that. Again, you probably want a couple in your inventory. If you do have a Shadow, you can purify it to get return, and you're going to be getting stab from that too, so just a little bit of food for thought. Togekiss with Aura Sphere. This is another mixed kind of feelings one because fire and fighting are kind of almost doing the same thing for it in certain situations, right? So for instance, if you're going up against Dialga, the Aura Sphere is going to be doing a lot better for you as opposed to Flamethrower. If you're going up against Metagross, that's the Flamethrower is going to be doing better than Aura Sphere. It's a kind of a trade-off situation, and I personally have want to stick with Flamethrower. That's just me. Aura Sphere is still pretty good if you want that. Mamoswine learns Ancient Power. Nobody runs that. It's garbage on Mamoswine. You don't need that, okay? You don't want that. But here's the thing. Mamoswine is an absolute beast, and you do want those candies. As you see, I do have a Shadow maxed out here, and I mean Stone Edge and Avalanche. Well, High Horsepower is what you're going to want to run. Avalanche and High Horsepower. I think I have the wrong moves on my Shadow. Gigalith can be a good pure rock type attacker. It is on the second page, and it will be putting in the work. I won't opt to go with that one, okay? So just kind of skip it. Amazing shiny, right? But you don't want to go with it. Conkeldurr learns Brutal Swing. This is something you definitely want to have on your Conkeldurrs if you're going to be going into Go Battle League, Ultra League, Great League, Master League, all of them. They're going to be definitely necessary. I haven't Elite TM'd my Shundo yet because, I mean, you can use it. It's a good move. I still like Close Combat Stone Edge, okay? It throws people off. They think I have Brutal Swing, okay? There's also that strategy too. And then when it comes down to Chandelure, it's going to be learning Poltergeist, a very hard-hitting, a nuke ghost move, essentially. Unfortunately, Shadow Ball is just going to be better for you. It's too big of a risk for such a glassy Pokemon to build up all this energy and have to take all these quick moves, and you get fainted. I mean, if you're going up against a fighter or a normal type that's not hitting you with very effective damage and you're able to farm up quickly, or at least farm up to the point where you can be comfortable in that situation without shielding or whatever the case may be, or take a charge move, then cool. But Shadow Ball all the way. Chandelure definitely is a really good Pokemon, especially with the Incinerate damage increase to it as well. So maybe you want to farm those candies still and still make a good one. All right, especially if you have a good Shadow. On to Haxorus here. Breaking Swipe is going to be kind of a standard move that you're going to want to have on it. Even though they did nerf Breaking Swipe to have a chance to lower the opponent's attack, it's still going to be great for a raid attacker, and it's still going to be good in general. This move is still good, okay? It's still fine. It's just not guaranteed and broken like it was. And then we do have Hydreigon. Hail Hydra. Yes, I have that best buddy because that's what happens when new things come out and you get hype. I have to bring it to you, and that's what we did. I'm not going to Elite TM it. There's no way in hell. I should toss it personally, but it is going to be a good dark type attacker with Brutal Swing. Okay, now moving on to Delphox here. Blast Burn, it's not good. It's not really good. Okay, yes, they can do certain things in certain situations in the Ultra and the Great League, okay? But for the most part, not really, okay? Yeah, oh, I ran into a Chestnut with Vine Whip, Frenzy Planet, Superpower did good there. Well, no duh. Moving on to Greninja, this is going to be one of your top best things, period. Something I noticed weird too is you can't see the Best Buddy badge when I tap on it. So I did get it ready for Best Buddy like this. So when we do get Ash Greninja, maybe this is going to have something to do with you having to be Best Buddy. But then again, it's probably going to be you have to earn certain amount of hearts in certain amount of days. Some nerf crap. And then we have Noivern here with Boom Burst. I got this 100, but unfortunately, this is one of the most useless things out of all the community days that we've ever received. So don't do anything with it. Don't waste your time. Nothing. Charge-a-Bug, as well as its evolution, are going to be getting Volt Switch. It's a quick move. The better one is going to be Charge-a-Bug. Straight up, you don't need Vikavolt. If you want to, go ahead. I personally don't advocate for that. So all the way with the Charge-a-Bug. Beware. It is going to be learning Drain Punch, which will raise your defense. Very low damage, but guaranteed to raise your defense. Kind of like Obstruct Obstagoon, except for you're not going to be lowering your opponent's defense. So it's an iffy one. It's a cool Pokemon and all, but again, I don't think you really need to power one up. I do have a maxed out Best Buddy because I love this design, and this Pokemon to me is just really funny. So I had to go ahead and do it, but I don't even run Drain Punch on my maxed out one because Superpower and something else. You don't need that, but it could do something for you. I've had opponents kind of screw with me, but for the most part, it's really kind of just nerfed their whole situation. And then we do have Obstagoon here, which is an amazing Pokemon for sure. It's going to learn Obstruct, which is going to guarantee raise your defense and lower your opponents. It's doing very low damage, and I personally don't like running Obstruct, but again, I've ran into opponents where if I don't have something super effective to Obstagoon, and I've said this before, it is a tank. As long as it's not taking super effective damage, this son of a gun will be just tearing things up, especially if you raise your defense. You could put your opponent in a bad situation, not to mention the shiny is probably one of the best aside from shiny Greninja. And then we do have Ursaluna, another good Pokemon here. I personally thought the design was just kind of really dumb at first, but it's grown on me and I like it now. I do have one of these powered up completely, and it is definitely going to be good in Master League. And I guess you can find some places for the Ultra League, but I wouldn't really advocate too much for the Great League for it. Okay, as far as going into raids as a ground type attacker, unfortunately it doesn't have a good ground move, so you're not going to really be able to do too much with that. There's better options, I should say. It'll still put in the work. All right, but when it comes down to it, you're looking at your community day starter Pokemon. You're looking at, aside from Delphox, Greninja. That one is just going to be, I'm going to have to say, probably #1. Okay, we're looking at Greninja being #1 on my list here for Pokemon that you want to be hunting with those IVs. Lower attack, and then higher defense and HP for the IVs, right? Haxorus is another good one I would advocate for because the shiny is amazing and it is going to be pretty good for you. Getting a good Chandelure, and not specifically Poltergeist, but getting a good Chandelure can also help your Pokemon inventory as far as raid attackers or even Great League or Master League. I wouldn't advocate for Chandelure in the Great League though. Conkeldurr, an amazing fighter. You want to go with that for sure. Mamoswine, another good Pokemon. You don't need the Community Day move though, but it is going to be something that you want enough candies to max out, especially have a Shadow, because it's absolutely amazing. Togekiss, another amazing Pokemon. We have a lot of good stuff here. You could go with Aurasphere, you can go with Flamethrower, you can go with Aurasphere and Flamethrower, but I would probably recommend it you go with Ancient Power on that here. So as you can see, Aurasphere, Aerial Ace, and Flamethrower. I have plenty of Elite TM, so it's not like I'm low and I don't want to do it. It's just I don't need it. When it comes to Staraptor, it's going to be one of the best attackers, flying type attackers as a Shadow, but it's super glassy. That's the only problem. It's almost better going with something else. I can't believe I'm saying that, as it is going to be one of my mascots, but you don't need Gust on that specifically. It will be called for when you go up against raids. Walrein, another one you definitely want. You don't need to max one out like this. That was just something I did for a video. I don't particularly use that for things that are weak to ice and raids. Tyranitar, another one on your list that you definitely want, because not only is it going to be able to be a beast with this Community Day Smackdown, you can Mega Evolve this son of a gun, and this thing is going to become an absolute monster in general, which there's a bunch of Pokemon on this list that can Mega Evolve that will become monsters after you do so, but Tyranitar is a different breed of monster over here. And then when it comes to the Slowbro family, you can pretty much skip them. If you need some candies or a good IV, then go ahead and hunt those, but You don't need Surf. You have Scold now. When it comes to Quagsire, again, Stone Edge and Mud Bomb is probably what you want. I have that maxed out one because that's when I was trying to reach level 50 and it required me to power something up to 50, and those are the candies that I did have lined up. All right, Ice Beam on Politoed, definitely something you want. Politoed is a good Pokemon that can be very spammy, especially with its upgraded Scold. You're going to be able to really put in the work. I think I might, do I have a Shadow? Was I looking on that? I'm not sure. But look at the moves: Earthquake, Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, Weather Ball. The thing is absolutely loaded up. All right, do you still want to go with Weather Ball, or do you want to go with Scold now on that thing? I think you want to go with Scold on it. All right, so Poliwrath, another good one that you're definitely going to want to go with for counter if you're into PvP. If you're not into PvP or Go Battle League, then you could pretty much skip this here because it's not going to be like your top tier fighter for raids. All right, there's going to be way better things out there. Alolan Sandslash, definitely something you want a good one of for sure too. Blastoise is going to have to be left in the dust. You're going to want to evolve if you have 100 or a good IV one for a Go Battle League, but it's not something you're using all the time. And then Charizard, definitely going to be top tier. But the thing about Charizard is it learns 2 moves for this community day. It's going to learn Dragon Breath and Blast Burn. All you have to do is TM away Dragon Breath, so it's not a big deal. It's like, oh, what should I do? Well, keep a couple Dragon Breaths with Blast Burn on the side, just in case, who knows? Like me, as you can see, hoarding the hell out of Charizards. Okay, and you'll be good to go. But I think the number one thing you should be focusing on to try to get a good one of, or at least a good IV 100% close to it, is going to be Greninja straight the heck up. That's it. This thing is so cheap, especially with its Water Shuriken. That thing is just going to be on another level to allow you to just spam the hell out of things. But there you have it, folks. That's kind of my rundown of Community Day Pokemon and just my thoughts there. So if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Take care.